Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. It's the big news of the day with major implications in the U.S. and worldwide. President Donald Trump has tested positive for the coronavirus. But we learned this morning that Vice President Pence has not. Tracy Potts brings us up to date on what this means in the middle of a pandemic and a heated campaign.
President and First Lady Melania Trump are in isolation at the White House right now after announcing overnight on Twitter they tested positive for COVID-19.
They remain in good spirits. The president does have mild symptoms.
Hours earlier, he downplayed the virus in a pre-recorded message for a charity event.
I just want to say that the end of the pandemic is in sight.
Now, supporters and staff who traveled with the president are being tested. Medical experts say the president is in a high-risk group and will be monitored closely.
They're going to be very vigilant about doing that because he does have a couple of risk factors.
He's 74, he's overweight, and he's been around dozens of people this week, often unmasked, including senior aide Hope Hicks, who tested positive and fell ill and was quarantined. Vice President Pence's office reporting new test results this morning. He's negative. So is the Secretary of State.
I am feeling fantastic. I was tested about 30 minutes ago.
Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin also testing negative this morning. He just met with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
We all receive that news with great sadness. I always pray for the president and his family that they're safe.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was at the White House this week for debate prep.
No one was wearing masks in the room when we were prepping the president during that period of time.
Democratic nominee Joe Biden tweeting thoughts for a swift recovery amid questions about whether he was exposed on stage for 90 minutes with the president. Markets are rattled and the world is watching. President Trump sidelined by a deadly virus in the last weeks of a tumultuous campaign. The president's appearance at a rally in Orlando today canceled. And the next presidential debate on October 15th, that's in limbo. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
The Democratic ticket and their spouses have all tested negative today for COVID-19. Presidential nominee Joe Biden confirmed that he and his wife Jill each received a negative result after being tested this morning. It was just Tuesday evening that Biden and President Trump faced off in their combative debate as their families were on hand to watch. And NBC News reports Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris and her husband have also tested negative today. Well, now to the COVID-19 pandemic here in Kern County. 159 new cases and 10 new deaths were reported by Public Health. That's a jump in deaths we've seen in a while. More than 32,000 people in Kern have been affected so far. More than 10,000 people are currently recovering from the virus at home, while 76 others are suffering from more acute symptoms and are being treated in area hospitals. 381 lives have been lost to this virus since the beginning of the pandemic here in Kern County. Now in your 17 Court Watch, a man convicted of killing his girlfriend's baby will spend the rest of his life in prison. Tobin Phillips was left to watch his then girlfriend's 2 young children back in 2017, but when she returned, her youngest 8-month-old Barron Smith was dead. Phillips was found guilty in August of first-degree murder and assault. This morning, Phillips was sentenced to life in prison without parole on convictions of murder with special circumstance of torture and assault on a child younger than 8, resulting in his death. Well, human trafficking has been on the rise in Kern County during the pandemic. This morning, 3 billboards went up on Union Avenue to raise awareness. And they were put up by Magdalene Hope, a local nonprofit dedicated to helping women escape this modern-day slavery. The organization says the number of women being sold on the streets in Bakersfield has doubled in the past 10 years. The pandemic and stay-at-home orders have also increased calls to their hotline. The issue has been brought back to light with the recent case of Patricia Alatorre, a 13-year-old police say was kidnapped, raped, and murdered by a man she met online. Her death prompted vigils for more than a week, also sparking discussion about social media safety.
We knew right off the bat that the traffickers weren't going to stop making money off these women, even there was a pandemic and there was a chance of them getting sick or coming down with COVID-19.
Magdalene hopes the billboards will be in plain view of women working on Union. The signs include numbers to call or text for help. Tomorrow, there will be a march against trafficking from 4 to 6 starting at Union and California Avenues. 17's Karen will bring us more details tonight at 5. Well, Kern County remains in the purple tier, the most restrictive tier, but there's some new hope of moving up, meaning fewer restrictions soon. County Administrative Officer Ryan Alsop says we have been meeting requirements to be in the red tier since Wednesday. Moving into the red tier would allow restaurants, gyms, places of worship, and schools to open for indoor activity. Health officials say the best way to help us get open is to get tested. And to do that, there are 9 places throughout Kern County you can go for a free test. You can schedule by calling 211 or go to kerncounty.com. You can also make an account on the website doineedacovid19test.com to find a test site and schedule an appointment. You can also use that site to check your results from previous tests. And if you're looking to get tested today, Bakersfield College is hosting a mobile COVID-19 testing site. The Kern County Latino COVID-19 Task Force, along with Kern Public Health and the Kern County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, teamed up for the free testing site. It's happening until 6 tonight at 1901 Panorama Drive. The self-swab test will be offered for those who have registered ahead on doineedacovid19test.com. And health experts continue to urge people to get a flu shot as soon as possible in order to help ease the strain on the healthcare system already embattled by the coronavirus. Now, to help, Kaiser Permanente is offering free flu shots tomorrow at a drive-through event. It's happening from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Kane Memorial AME Church on California Avenue. You do not need to be a Kaiser member to receive a shot, but vaccines will be limited to the first 300 people that show up. Well, today, families in need are receiving much-needed goods. CityServe Kern County is continuing their USDA Farmers to Families box program. Now, this is their 3rd phase of the program. The first 2 phases saw over 80 million food boxes. This phase is different than the last.
This is phase 3. It's our first intake of phase 3 boxes, which is a mixed box, which is different than phase 1 and 2, which was more fruit and more veggie. So this is a beautiful box for a family. And this morning we're here with, you can see just a line of churches here lined up to take these. And the beautiful thing about the churches being engaged is they take it right back to the neighborhood where they are. So they're not only delivering a box of food, they're also building relationship with these folks and being able to find out other needs that they may have.
Welcome back. California State University Bakersfield celebrated its 50th anniversary yesterday, capping off the revelry with the first ever Giving Day, a 24-hour online fundraiser for student athlete scholarships. CSUB's website says they raised more than $124,000 by midnight's deadline. How exciting is that? Well, are we looking at some hot weather once again? Let's send it back over to Alyssa.
A smoky haze once again today. It has been the story recently and will continue to be through the weekend, I'm afraid. Air quality is not great. Unhealthy for sensitive groups at 150, so it is right near the red category. Take it easy outside if you're asthmatic or if you are sensitive, maybe have heart disease. The smoky matter could be bad for your health. Meanwhile, the smoke will continue to stick around here through the weekend, at least, with high pressure continuing to weaken a little bit as it travels eastward. But we still have the inversion layer into the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and that is going to keep that smoke trapped here on the valley floor. So even though our high will start to move eastward the next couple of days still, we're still going to see the smoke, unfortunately. Cooler air by early next week, maybe even into Wednesday, 80s, which would be nice. We still are watching as Hurricane Marie is out in the Pacific. It is a major hurricane, a Cat 4. We're hoping that the remnants here from Marie next week will make their way into the state, giving us some much needed rain, and that would help the wildfire situation too. We just have to watch out a little bit for mudslides with any sort of rain now. As we head into Saturday, and this is next Saturday, rain in Northern California down to about the central coast, nothing really into the Kern area, but maybe by next Sunday. And higher elevation snow maybe into Northern California by next weekend. 74 and dry in San Francisco today, 66 in Monterey, 102 in Paso Robles, 78 in Morro Bay, 94 in Solvang, 88 in Santa Barbara, 80 in Oxnard, and 81 in Oceanside, 91 in San Diego. Here's your valley forecast. Temperatures then around 97 in Bakersfield, 96 in Porterville, 98 in Shafter, 97 in Washington, Roscoe. In the mountains, 81 in Pine Mountain Club, 84 in Bear Valley, 97 in Wofford Heights, 95 in Kernville. In the desert, 99 at Edwards Air Force Base, 98 in California City. Today should be the hottest out of the next 7, and then tomorrow 95, 94 on Sunday, lower 90s back into the mid 80s by Wednesday, and cooling into the lower 60s at night. In the mountains, upper 80s for Friday, mid 80s for the weekend. Next week we'll be into the lower 80s. And in the Kern River Valley, still smoky. Temperatures around 98 today, 97 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday. Lower 90s next week with overnight lows in the 60s. So hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll look forward to some cooler weather by next week.
Welcome back. Breast Cancer Awareness Month runs all month long. New research reveals the impact of delayed mammograms caused by COVID-19. Swedish scientists concluded if all mammograms are delayed, we will see modest increase in breast cancer deaths over the next decade. If you are in need of a mammogram, Kern Radiology has teamed up with local businesses to offer them for free. It's happening Friday, October 23rd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at their Riverwalk location on Stockdale Highway. Patients must be at least 40 years old and be a resident of Kern County. They're being offered on a first-come, first-served basis. To schedule, call 281-8760 by the deadline of October 14th. Happening this weekend, Greenlawn will be offering their second annual Blessing of the Pets. The Blessing of the Animals is a tradition, part of the Feast of St. Francis, which is celebrated by Christians worldwide. Greenlawn's Pet Cemetery is the first kind in Bakersfield, giving owners the chance to remember their furry friends. The president of Greenlawns says pets are just as much a part of a family as any other loved one. He continues, they deserve to be recognized. It's happening this Sunday at 10 a.m. at Greenlawn's new pet cemetery in Southwest Bakersfield. And we are remembering a decorated World War II veteran today. Walter Eastley died September 23rd at the age of 96. Walter served in the U.S. Army during World War II. He was awarded with the French Legion of Honor Medal in 2017. He is remembered by his wife, Aline, 5 brothers, and a grandson. His funeral just wrapped up at the Mission Family Mortuary. To plant memorial trees in his memory, please visit our the Sympathy store at Greenlawns.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.